Hey everybody, welcome back to Kat's Kitchen. I'm so glad you guys are back here again with me for another episode and a new recipe. So today we are going to be making a keto and gluten-free coffee cake. Now this recipe can go either way. If you don't want to use a sugar substitute, then it would just be considered gluten-free. However, if you would like to use a sugar substitute, then it would be considered gluten-free and keto. So I'm just going to read you this recipe and I'll link it down below for you. And then I also want to make a little mention that on my website that you'll have linked down below, I'm making some updates to it, so just bear with me. My new recipes aren't on there yet. I'm making some changes to it, but if you'd like to check out more recipes, you can go ahead and click that link down below as well. So we're going to start off with preheating our oven to 350 degrees. We're going to grease a 9x11 pan and then line it with parchment, and I also sprayed the parchment as well, just to ensure that it would come out a lot easier. Okay, then next what we're gonna do is, I'll read off our ingredients here. We have 2 1/4 cup of almond flour, 1/4 cup of coconut flour, 2 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 cup of butter, 1/2 cup of brown sugar. This is where you can do the substitute if you want it to be keto, 3 large eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then for the crumble topping, you're gonna need 3 ounces of butter, cold, 1 1/2 cup of almond flour, 1/2 cup of brown sugar substitute if you want it keto, and then 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. So let's get together. We're gonna start mixing up our dry ingredients first. Okay, so our recipe is gonna start whisking everything in here for our dry ingredients. So next we're going to cream together our wet ingredients. I have our 1/2 cup of butter in here. I just put it in the microwave for about 30 seconds to soften it. Next we're going to add our 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Like I said, you can do a substitute if you want it to be keto. We're going to cream this together, and then we're going to add our eggs one at a time. Next, we're going to add in our vanilla, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. We're going to mix this together, and then we're going to mix our dry and our wet ingredients together. I'm just going to mix a little bit of this at a time, just until it's combined on a low setting. Alrighty guys, so now we're gonna make our crumble topping. So I set our batter aside for right now. So we're starting out with 3 ounces of cold butter. Next, we're gonna do 1.5 cups of our almond flour. Then we're going to need 1/2 cup of our brown sugar and 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. And we're just gonna mix this well until it's combined. The best way to do this is crumble the cold butter up with the sugar and the flour mixture with your hands, just like you would be making a pie crust, because you want the cold butter to get dispersed throughout your mixture to help with the crumble topping. So this is gonna take a little while to come together. Okay friends, so I messed up on the pan measurement. It's not a 9 by 13, it's a 9 by 11. I don't have a 9 by 11, I'm gonna use my 8 by 8. I think it's gonna work out fine, just based on how much mixture we do have here. So I'm just gonna transfer my parchment right on over to my 8 by 8, and we'll use this instead. I'm glad I noticed that, because like I said, I noticed that it doesn't seem like it's calling for a lot of batter. So I didn't want to make it in that 9 by 13. It could end up burning and whatnot and being like super thin. So we're gonna try the 8 by 8 instead. What I'll do is, since I know I have a lot of parchment hanging over, is I'm gonna put our cake in first. I'm gonna smooth it out, and then I'll just trim off around whatever excess parchment that I have hanging over. Then we're gonna add in half of our crumble mixture, which that's gonna melt and get all nice and buttery too when it melts. And then the rest of our dough mixture, our cake batter mixture. And like I said, I'm just spraying the back of my spatula just to help smooth it around. And then we'll top it off with the rest of our crumble mixture. If it's not perfect like mine, that's why it's kind of nice to have the crumble, because you won't be able to notice any flaws with that crumble mixture on top. I'm just going to take my scissors and trim along here. Get all this excess off. Okay, and now we are ready to bake for between 35 and 40 minutes on 350. All right, everybody, so our cake is out of the oven. I set the timer for 35 minutes and then I put it back in for 2 more minutes, because when I checked it with a toothpick, there was just, you know, a little bit still stuck on the toothpick. So we're just gonna give this a little bit of a sample here and check out the inside. I'm not sure how to make these pieces. We'll do like this. That looks about right. The first piece might come out of here like kind of crumbly. We'll see what we can do. Like I said, I've never made this before, guys. This is a test. And we will test this out together. It looks good. Nice and brown on the top. Looks like it's nice and cooked through. All right, guys, so we're gonna take a little bite here of our coffee cake. It is super good. Wow. The flavor is so good. I love the crumble on the top. It's a little bit soft in the middle. And it's not really like falling apart or anything. Like, I mean, the crumble is obviously crumbly, but if you see, it's really holding together very nicely like a traditional cake would be with, you know, all-purpose flour or cake flour or whatnot. The only complaint that I would have is it is a little bit dry. Not overtly dry by any means. Like if you have a cup of coffee or probably, you know, a little bit of ice cream with it, I'm sure it'll be perfect. But my gosh, like the inside is moist. It's just, maybe I put a little too much crumble on the top. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it was my fault, but the flavor is phenomenal. If you make this, please leave me a comment down below. Let me know maybe what I can do to adjust it. Maybe I just made too much of the crumble and that's okay. But my gosh, is this good. I mean, honestly, you can see like the inside is very, very moist. And you know, where we put that crumble on the inside. I think it was my fault, just putting too much crumble on the top. But I know Mark is gonna like this too. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.